What's going on, guys? Welcome back to WWE Network and Show, where I, Graham Jason Matthews, break down all the original content I watch on the WWE Network and on Peacock. And today we're breaking down the July 31st, 2023 edition of Raw Talk, hosted by Megan Morant and Matt Camp. We are officially full on board with Megan Morant and Matt Camp hosting Raw Talk and SmackDown Lowdown going forward. They kind of had the final send-off for Jackie Redmond on SmackDown Lowdown, so check it out if you haven't already seen it. It was actually a really nice final farewell for Jackie on the shows, which I thought was really cool. They kind of gave her some time to kind of say goodbye to the Raw Talk, SmackDown Lowdown universe, even though she's still technically on Raw Talk doing the interviews. Anyway, so they open up the episode here recapping the Riddle-Ludwig-Kaiser match from Raw, won by Kaiser. They also recap the Gunther-Chad Gable non-title match, which was a great match, by the way, starting out as a 5-minute challenge. Won by Gable initially, not by pinfall, but he outlasted Gunther in the 5-minute challenge. They kind of extended to a full-on match, and Gunther won there. So we hear from Gunther backstage. We do not, the rest of Imperium is there, but we don't hear from them. Gunther says that the real challenge is at SummerSlam when he defends the Intercontinental Championship against Drew McIntyre. It's up to him to defend the honor of the sport and the prestige of the championship, and he plans on being champ forever going forward, and that will not change. Back in the studio, they hype up Gunther and McIntyre for the Intercontinental Championship on Saturday. They recap Maxine Dupree against Valhalla, the match from Raw, which was won by Dupree. Hopefully that marks the end of the storyline. I know crowds have really dug Alpha Academy, and that's great. Great to see them getting consistent television time. That's awesome. The match was fine for what it was, but I'm ready to move on to whatever's next for Alpha Academy. Gable chasing the Intercontinental Championship would be great. I don't expect that to happen, but that would make for best case scenario, but I doubt that's actually going to happen. Anyway, so we hear from Alpha Academy backstage. Dupree kind of talks her performance and how elated she was to do well and win the match, blah, blah, blah. And then Gable puts Gunther on notice. He says that in the back half of SummerSlam, coming out of the Drew McIntyre match, he hopes that he's still Intercontinental Champion, which I'm not confident in. I do think McIntyre might be taking the title on Saturday. If not on Saturday, maybe at a later point. But regardless, Gable says coming out of SummerSlam, he hopes Gable, or rather Gunther, is still Intercontinental Champion, so he can be the one to take that championship from Gunther. They also recap the Brock Lesnar-Cody Rhodes segment from Raw that saw Lesnar leave Rhodes laying, and they hype up Cody Rhodes against Brock Lesnar for Saturday night. They replay the Ricochet-Logan Paul segment that started Raw that saw Logan Paul get the better of Ricochet and stand tall. They hype Logan Paul and Ricochet for Saturday night. They also recap Tommaso Ciampa's loss to Shinsuke Nakamura from Raw. We hear from Nakamura quickly here, and he says that he doesn't remember cheating. He held the tights to beat Ciampa on Monday night, and he says he doesn't remember that. And then he kind of, Byron Saxton asked him about his actions and attitude lately, and Nakamura said that I think he said that there's not always good and bad with people. There is a shades of gray in between. But then he said that he picked his side. He picked his side between the two. Doesn't, say which one, but he's obviously going heel based on his the fashion in which he won that match and the way he kind of came across here. Wearing all black, too. If he's wearing all black, surely that means he's going heel. But nonetheless, they kind of recap the main event to end the episode here. Run down the SummerSlam card, and plug Xavier Woods, Tyler Breeze, and Bayley for the bump coming up on Wednesday, and a Kayla Braxton announcement. What that would be, I'm not sure. But they announced that Kayla Braxton will have an announcement, announcing an announcement for Wednesday's The Bump. Pretty standard stuff here on Raw Talk. The interviews were really nothing out of the ordinary, but if you want to catch up on everything that happened on Raw and everything going into SummerSlam, the rundown of the card, hype for all the matches, specifically the Raw side of the matches, this is the episode for you. Again, nothing really out of the ordinary otherwise, but it did serve as a final good go-home show, so to speak, for Raw Talk heading into the pay-per-view this weekend. Thank you guys for checking out my review of Raw Talk for Monday night. I appreciate it. Be sure to like the video, drop a comment, share the video, and subscribe to the channel for more daily content. I think they're still having a SmackDown Lowdown on Saturday because the pay-per-view is not until later on Saturday night, obviously at 8 p.m. So typically when they have the pay-per-views on Saturdays, and they're not in the afternoon like a London show or a Saudi Arabia show or whatever, they still do SmackDown Lowdown. I'll be away this weekend for SummerSlam in Detroit, so I probably won't be breaking that show down on Saturday before the pay-per-view, most likely either on Sunday or on Monday. I know it's after the pay-per-view, but they do recap stuff on SmackDown Lowdown that has nothing to do with SummerSlam, so we'll probably watch it and review it at some point either on Sunday or on Monday, if they do indeed do a show, which I assume they are, coming up on Saturday. Again, guys, thank you so much for checking out the video and the review. I appreciate it. Have an awesome one. I'm Graham G.S. Matthews, and I'll catch your ass down the road.